On this video, I want to share briefly about Melchizedek, the high priest of Genesis chapter 14. Abraham met Melchizedek and paid tithes to him, and Melchizedek then blessed Abraham. And this text in the New Testament becomes a type of Jesus Christ and looks at his eternal priesthood by virtue of his glorious resurrection. And as we think about this text, there will be several passages that I would like to read in Hebrew and look at grammatically. Abraham, for example, or Melchizedek, when Abraham came to him, Melchizedek is called a priest of Elyon, God Most High. And I don't think that's Baal, but I take that as Yahweh, who brings bread and wine. It is interesting that Christ is the priest of God the Father, who brings bread and wine as a representation of his sacrifice of breaking his body and of establishing the new covenant and offering bread and wine as a celebration of that. Melchizedek, it's interesting to me, worships God as the maker of heaven and earth. And I'm thinking, too, looking at the New Testament, he is worshiping really also by way of anticipation the one who creates heaven and earth, and that is Christ in John 1, verse 3. Furthermore, Abraham paid a tenth of everything to him. And I was thinking how important it is for the believer who has been delivered by Christ to give what we can give to the Lord and glorify his name in thanksgiving for what the great Melchizedekian priest, Jesus Christ, has done in bringing deliverance to us. Just a little bit of text that I would like to point out grammatically. Looking at verse 18, for example. Melchizedek, Melech Shalem, Hotzi Lechem Vayayin, Vahu Chochen Le'el Elyon. That is, Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought bread and wine, and he was priest of God Most High. Melchizedek literally is my king is righteous. Melech is the noun meaning king. Shalem is no doubt a way of speaking of Jerusalem, Yerushalayim or Salem. Hotzi lechem vayayin. He brought forth bread and wine. Hotzi is from Yatzah. It's a Hifil, perfect, third masculine singular from Yatzah. It is interesting, it was a third masculine singular, probably a pay vav verb. Well, no doubt it was a pay vav verb and would have been read Hautzi, becoming Hotzi, with the bringing together of the Pathak and the Vav with a long Holam Vav in that root. So he caused to bring forth Lechem Vayayin and Vehu Kohen, and he was priest, Le Elyon, to the Most High God. It's also interesting as we read on that notice it reads Vayavarahehu Vayomar Baruch Avram Va'el Elyon Konei Shamayim Va'aretz. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Avram, blessed be Abraham by God Most High, maker of heaven and earth. So Melchizedek blesses Abraham and said, "Blessed be Abraham to God Most High, maker of heaven and earth." Uh, Notice here, Vayivarachehu, and he blessed him. From Barak is a Piel, imperfect third masculine singular from Barak, with a third masculine singular pronominal suffix. And he blessed him, and he said, Baruch, Avram, may be blessed, or blessed be Avram. Baruch, by the way, is a cow passive participle from Barak, to bless. So, blessed be Avram, Abraham, which means high father, uh, Elyon, by God, or to God Most High, maker, kone, of heaven and earth. Kone is a cow active participle, masculine singular from kana, to get, or possessor would be a way we could translate it, of heaven and earth. So notice Melchizedek blesses Abraham, and the lesser is blessed by the greater. Melchizedek becoming a type of Christ. And it's interesting, the writer of Hebrews picks up a full discussion in Hebrews chapter 7 of Melchizedek. And then the next line reads, Uvaruk el Elyon asher megain sorecha biyadecha vayetain lo ma'aser mekol. And as we read that verse, it reads, and the Lord delivered Abraham, and he paid a tenth of everything. And as we look at this verse here, blessed be El Elyon, who, and magain here is a verb to deliver, because he delivered. Megain is from the root magan. It is a PL perfect, third masculine singular from magan, to deliver. For he delivered your adversaries into your hand. Zorecha is a noun, masculine plural, with a second masculine singular pronominal suffix. Your enemies, biyadecha, into your hand, vayetain, and he gave him a tenth of all. And notice here, vayetain is a cow imperfect third masculine singular from natan, to give. And notice the noon here, by progressive assimilation, has gone into the top. Vayintain becoming vayetain, and the root is natan. So he gave to him ma'aser, a tenth, mekol, from all that, from everything, we could say. So the Lord delivers Abraham, and he pays a tenth of everything. And it's interesting, as we look at the New Testament, Melchizedek becomes a type of Christ. And he is a type of Christ, and he comes on the scene. There's no mention of a father or a mother, and it points to Christ and his eternality, the writer of Hebrews says. He is also King of righteousness, and he is the one who blesses Abraham. And the lesser is blessed by the greater. And it looks at the greatness of Christ by way of type and anticipation. So this great text views Christ as our eternal high priest. That is because of his resurrection. So as we look forward to Christmas, we need to thank the Lord that we have a great high priest who lives and forever makes intercession for those of us, for anyone who will accept him as their Lord and high priest.